What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. I'm doing this on my phone. I'm not at home, or I'm at my mom's house. So I don't have my computer right now, so I'm recording this on my phone. Hopefully, I'll be able to do this all right. It's kind of a different setup than I'm used to consistently, but the Ravens just released their roster, so we're going to be talking about all the different players, and all the different possibilities that we can be, going through this season. And my assumption is I can pull this up on my phone, and I think I'll still be able to read the different rosters. But I think one of the most interesting things is the Ravens ended up keeping 5 tight ends and 5 wide receivers, which is really interesting because I think a lot of us, I really thought Benjamin Victor was going to make the team. Shamar Bridges, Mekhi Polk, Raleigh Webb, none of them ended up making the team. And we're rocking out with an injury, just an injury grouped wide receiver room. We have Rashad Bateman, who's healthy. Duvernay, Prochet, and Wallace have all kind of been banged up. And, obviously Demarcus Robinson. But then our tight ends, we have Charlie Kolar on the 53-man roster, which, I'm not against that whatsoever, but he's not going to be playing. So we're going to find out what exactly they're doing in this passing game, because if someone gets hurt, it's going to be really tough. Because Lisa, I see Lisa says, like, what do we do in case of emergency? I don't know. Like, if we have injury, guys get hurt in the game week 1, maybe we have a couple of, handshake under the table deals where it's like, okay, once we add this guy to IR, then we'll re-sign you. Because that's what they did with Anthony Levine last year. They do that all the time. So, maybe that has some potential, but they did cut Beatty. I'm not surprised by Beatty, and Hayes was injury waived. I don't know exactly what they're doing with the edge rusher position, because I believe Brent Urban is being brought back or brought in to once they get that injured stuff done, they'll be able to sign him again. And I see, unfortunately, King, no, neither of them ended up making it. We didn't keep any undrafted wide receivers, whether it was this year undrafted or previous season. So the wide receiver room is very small. Maybe the Ravens are looking at, some of the other guys that got released. I know Tyler Johnson got released today, so maybe we'll see. And I see what receivers made it. The guys that were there last year and Demarcus Robinson. That's who we have right now. And we kept Josh Oliver, which was really surprising. I like Josh Oliver, but I was not expecting that whatsoever. And I see Joshua says, what wide receiver should we get? I don't know. Honestly, I really thought Benjamin Victor was going to be that guy. I really like the possibilities of him. So, I'm not a huge fan of Tyler Johnson. I don't think he's bad by any means whatsoever. But, I don't know if he's that much better than – the problem is he's, super injured. And so that's, really tough. Means Urban. I think Means is going to get signed within the next couple of days. I think he's a handshake deal. I think he'll be brought back. Brent Urban, he could be brought back. Tyler Beatty makes complete sense. I was expecting him to not make the roster, especially after we ended up signing Kenyon Drake. It doesn't make any sense to keep Tyler Beatty because he would be our 5th running back, and he can't play gunner on special teams. So it's like, why? He'll be a practice squad guy if nobody picks him up. But see, Rashad Bateman says, does Chuck Clark get traded earlier in the early if Clark gets traded earlier this offseason? He requested a trade. Oh, does he get traded earlier this offseason? He requested a trade to say if he wasn't starting, he won't play another down for the Ravens. I think he's gotten over it. I think overall, it's going to be a rotation in the safeties. I'm not expecting the Ravens to really trade him, potentially, but We'll see. And can you find the 53-man list? I haven't seen a 53-man list come out, only the cuts that they ended up making. So, that's all that I know is who we ended up cutting. So, but yeah, overall, I have a pretty good idea of all the players that made it. And yeah, Josh Ross did end up making the team, the undrafted guy. I think he might have been the only undrafted guy to end up making the team. Josh Gordon, I wouldn't mind. I would not mind a Josh Gordon signing. That would be the best guy if we were to go for players that were cut today. I think he would be. Yeah, we did end up keeping Calais. And we should keep Calais. He's super good. And we have no pass rush. I think the pass rush is handshake deals right now. I think that's got to be what we have to expect. I think the Ravens probably put Charlie Kolar on the IR potentially, tomorrow, so that or next week, whenever the deadline is, so then they can end up bringing back Stephen Means and Brent Urban. And Dalen Hayes is also injured right now, so he wouldn't be able to play anyway. He was injury waived. And Bridges did not end up making the team. Bridges ended up getting injury waived. I think so. Tweaks. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. I think that's how it works. And Adam, Josh Gordon got suspended for marijuana. Josh Gordon also, like all the reports have been, he has been fantastic in the locker room. Has been no trouble with him whatsoever in the locker room presence, in Kansas City and the recent places he's been. And the rules have kind of changed. So I'm fine with bringing in Josh Gordon. And they did cut Anthony Brown, which is horrible. So much better than Huntley, but whatever. I was expecting him to get cut, so we'll see. Ooh, I don't think he replaces him this year. I just don't see him being good enough in coverage yet. I just think that they really like Josh Bynes. I think the Ravens may draft a linebacker next year. I think with their first pick next year, they probably go linebacker, they go wide receiver. So it's going to be tough. We'll see what they end up doing, but Jeff Zrebic just tweeted out the rosters, which I didn't expect. Yeah, it was just a situation where it was like why are they just didn't target him. Like, he's not a guy that's going to get open consistently. He's a guy that's for jump balls. So that's also true, Nick. Keep in mind they see full practices, off the field work ethic, tendency to repeat mistakes, etc., not just burning other teams' 3s and 4s. That's very true. That's a very good point, Nick. If we sign another receiver, I think right now if we sign another receiver, it's more about the injuries, because right now, Prochet's banged up, Wallace is banged up, and Devin Duvernay's been banged up. So it's, they're all banged up right now. So if we sign a guy, I don't think it's, indicative of the fact that we don't believe in them. It's just maybe, hey, we need another guy. And I think we probably bring someone in. I'm thinking we still maybe bring up Benjamin Victor for week 1, but and yet Ardarius Washington made the team, right? Kevin, because I don't think I saw his name, which I love. I love Ardarius Washington. I really wanted him to make the roster. So him making the roster, I'm super happy about that. If he did. And I think, did Broderick Washington also make it? Did both Washingtons make it? Which runs the slant? I mean, nobody runs a slant in Greg Roman's offense. Oh, he got cut? Well then. That's sad. Sorry, Ardarius Washington. I wanted to make the team, but I don't have the list up. Again, I'm on my phone, so I can't really look at the comments and look at the the thing. So yeah, he got released. So again, I was a huge fan of it. I didn't have him making the 53-man roster, so I'm not. Yeah, and Jeff Strubick just tweeted saying they'll open up 2 roster spots after 4 p.m. when they put David Ojabo and Charlie Kohler on the IR. So, like I said, I think we need another pass rusher. I think we add the pass rushers once we free up those 2 roster spots. I think that's the biggest thing. But yeah, it's gonna be, and yeah, he does have injury concerns. Lisa, that's a good thing to bring up. I'm not a huge fan of Tyler Johnson. He's had a ton of injuries, and honestly, he's not that good. Like, he's fine. Like, he's a fine receiver. I don't see him being better than, like, he doesn't, like, Devin Duvernay has a role. All right, he is the gadget player. Whether or not we like the fact that he's a gadget player, he wouldn't be able to replace Devin Duvernay. And James Prochet is probably about the same level. He's not a player. Like, you have to remember he's playing with Tom Brady. You also have to remember he's behind Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and some other really good wide receivers. So he is not the focus of the offense. No, I believe IR means you have to miss the first 6 I think you miss the first 6 weeks if you get put on IR. You have to miss 6 weeks. So he would be able to return for the season. I think if you put someone on IR before the season starts, then they end up missing the whole season. If, like, in training camp you put them on IR, that's when that starts to kick in. Potentially we could get a guy from another team's camp. I just don't know, if I didn't see any names, big names or anything like that we could bring in. There's probably some guys, that we could bring in, but I don't know if there's any, like, game-changing players. But I also think Lou, I think Means gets brought back tomorrow when the Rams free up those two spaces. So I'm not worried about that. And yes, Devin Duvernay also is a returner, so that's a good point to make. We need to trade. What do we need to trade for? Who said we need to trade? Braun. Let's see. Oh, Denzel Mims. Nana, thank you for putting this in the chat. This makes it so much easier, so that I can consistently read it. I also see you have our Darius Washington, Raleigh Webb, and Chuck Wiley. So, yeah. Best pass rusher out there, I say. I mean, I don't know if there's any, like, really good ones. Just get more tight ends off the waiver wire. We already have 5 tight ends, which is, like, really surprising. Line up with 6 tight ends on the field. I like that, Jeff. IR changes 4 weeks now. Oh, that's good to know, Joe. Thank you. Who were the surprise cuts? I'm gonna say Benjamin Victor. I don't think it's that much of a surprise, but the fact that the Ravens only kept 5 receivers, I think, is the biggest surprise for me. And then the other surprise is keeping 5 tight ends, and not cutting Mr. the Weapon. But other players, like everybody else, like, it kind of makes sense why they ended up waiving them. I like Moon. I like Mac. I like, a lot of the players that ended up getting cut. But at the same time, it was a really tough, when I was looking through it, it was just really tough. And Lisa, don't worry, Tyler Linderbaum did not get cut. Yeah, Kimberly. The problem is, it's just keeping 3 quarterbacks is too difficult to do, with only 53 players available. it made sense when, Lamar was first starting off. And so it was like, okay, we need 2 backups in case, something happens. But, yeah, we could also see some Isaiah Likely in the slot. Why did we keep Oliver? Because we're putting Charlie Kolar on the IR. And so it's just a situation where it looks like the Ravens really liked what they had in Oliver. Whereas maybe the wide receivers, they feel like they can re-sign tomorrow. And they're less likely to be able to retain the guy that they want. I don't know. 11 offensive linemen. Yeah, I think what I'm hearing is they're gonna throw Daniel Filelli on the IR list, and cut it down to 10. But yeah, it is a lot. Do you think they pay Lamar 30 mil? They're gonna pay Lamar. If Lamar's not playing for 30 mil, Lamar's gonna get a lot more than 30 million. Ravens roster offense. Thank you, Joe. Lamar, Huntley, Dobbins, Davis, Hill, Ricard, Bateman, Prochet, Duvernay, Robinson, Wallace, Andrews, Boyle, Likely, Oliver. And then offensive line. We've got, I think the biggest surprise for me is Christian Colon Castillo ended up making the roster. Because the problem with this is why did we sign Patrick McCarry to that extension? It makes no sense to me. Signing him to that deal, because his whole benefit is he can play backup to any position on the offensive line. That is the benefit that he brings. So why keep 11 offensive linemen if you have someone that can back? Like, you should keep 8, maybe 9. And they keep a lot of other ones on the practice squad. So I think if Filelli gets thrown to the IR, and I don't know the health of some of the other players. I know Cleveland's been banged up, so maybe 2 of them go to IR. I don't know who's eligible to go to IR, so not 100% sure. How will Demarcus Robinson do with Lamar Jackson? I think he's going to do really well. He's a great run blocker, and he excels when the defense isn't focusing on him. That's when he makes those big plays. So I think he's going to do really well. I don't think he's going to put up 1,000 yards. Or anything like that, but I think he's going to play solid. And I see Joshua's in here. Joshua, I can send you an invite if you're free. I'm on my phone, so I have to figure out how to do it, but I can definitely send you one if you're free. But I see Ravens fans are traumatized from last year. That's why we want so many offensive linemen. Yeah, that's a fair point, Paul. It's a fair point. Let's see here. Yeah, I know. Too many characters to try and fit overall. Yeah, so Hayes got cut, but he's also injured, so it could be something where if he doesn't get picked up, which I don't think he does, I think we end up getting a pick, not a pick, but him on the injured list. So when he gets healthy, I think we could bring him back. Yeah, he is hurt, Joshua. Very true, Alondo. I think we have to make sure. I'll say this. I think by week 1, we have 6 receivers on the roster. But week 1 is, 10, 12 days away, something like that. I think it's 12 days away until the Ravens play on September 11th. So, we'll see about that. Because Charlie Kolar is getting put on IR. That's why. So we're really only keeping 4, which, isn't, if someone gets injured and we run 4 tight end sets, I would rather have Oliver out there trying to catch a pass than Patrick Ricard. So that's fine with me. Let's see. Yeah, Tyler Beatty Tyler Beatty is like a potential kickoff returner, and he can't play gunner. So unless he's on the field, he's not a valuable depth piece to have because he just can't play special teams because of his size, and that's just a limited potential. So I wasn't surprised that he ended up getting cut. He's a 6th round pick. We'll see what he ends up doing. I'm wishing the best for him, but we'll see what he ends up doing. That's true, Joshua. Beatty was not helped by that run blocking. Lisa, I think by week 1 we could very well have 7 wide receivers. I think Mekhi Polk and Raleigh Webb and Shamar Bridges and Benjamin Victor, they'll all be on the practice squad most likely. So I think by week 1 we will promote at least one of them up there. But we just haven't done it yet because we just got to open up those spaces. If someone gets hurt in the regular season or in practice, in the next week and a half, we'll be able to promote them, but we'll find out. Potentially. Offensive lineman is a very difficult position to trade for because very few teams have offensive linemen that they're willing to trade. The Ravens actually have enough offensive linemen to where they could technically trade some. So, yeah, that has some potential. Miami knows how to draft running backs. I don't think they're any better than, any other teams drafting running backs. It's not that hard to draft running backs. Running backs may be the easiest position to draft in the NFL because it's just it's the easiest position that translates over to the NFL. Let's see. Also, yeah, you guys can tell that I'm in my childhood bedroom. Did they go 6 cornerbacks and 4 safeties? So right now the cornerbacks are Marlon Marcus, Brandon Stevens, Kyle Fuller, Pepe, and Jalen Armour-Davis. So that's 6. And then the safeties are Geno Stone made it, right? I'm pretty sure Geno Stone ended up making it. So, yes, I do believe so. I believe that is true. Jeff, 100%. And yeah, Stevens is a utility player. Stevens will end up playing corner. He'll be playing safety as well. Yeah, Daryl Worley released. Yeah, I'm really happy that Geno Stone made it. I really wanted him on the roster, especially over Tony Jefferson. Like bringing him in for, dime packages and things like that. He's gonna be able to make plays and also disregard this like Chargers helmet right here. Disregard. But yeah, Geno Stone's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Anything on Travis Jones? Yeah, Travis Jones, I think Ravens defensive line coach Anthony Weaver was talking about him and saying like, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back early. So, I think he's definitely on track so far. And his injury was, okay, he'll be out 3 to 5 weeks, I believe, which I think would be missing like weeks 1 through, coming back between weeks 2 and 4. Or something like that. So, yeah. Yes, I have Torres. Brady Stevens is definitely better than Kevon Seymour. Let's see here. Lou, I believe Brent Urban will be signed tomorrow or once because the Ravens have the ability to free up probably I know of at least 3 players that they can put on the IR and free up 3 spaces. And I think Brent Urban will be put back on. I think Steven Means will be put back on. And then we could put a wide receiver on as well. And so that could be the 3 players right there. Because we can put Falele, we can put Charlie Kohler, and we can put who's the other player? We have another person. I can't remember who it is. Can't remember the last person. I think Poe's going to be out there no matter what. I think Poe's the type of guy that'll go through an injury. And he'll David Ojabo. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Resident Alien, Mr. Smith, and John. I'm not surprised. Yeah, like Tylan Wallace gets picked up by another team if he's cut. Those guys don't. So yeah, Brentner, that makes sense. And we can also add in, if we throw Falele on the IR as well, that'll add another spot. And Raven for Life, they have to wait to put those players on IR until the roster's been set. I think they can do it tomorrow, but they can't do it until after the roster has been set, is why they can't put people on IR. And Wallace does have really good special teams ability. That's one of the major benefits that he has. Something about guys out of Oklahoma State for the Baltimore Ravens. They play well on special teams. And no, they haven't announced practice squad yet. I think that starts tomorrow. Maybe it starts, maybe in like an hour or so. They kind of talk to people and say like, hey, this is who we're bringing back. And Yam Sam, man, I am also with it. Like, and he, Poe's all good right now. So. Yeah, I'm not a huge I think the Ravens know that they're going to bring in and bring back a couple of people. So I know right now it looks like, they don't have anybody. I promise by week 1, they're going to have, edge players all set up. So don't worry about that at all. Jeff, that's very true. Also, shout out to everybody in the stream. We got 200. It looks like 239 people in here. Shout out to everybody. If you're not subscribed already, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But are we just plotting on coverage stacks? Maybe. Yeah, Joshua, definitely. They'll definitely be reaching out to Moon or Hayes. And yeah, when we get David Ojabo, that'll be another guy added in. The surprising cut for me, I don't know if there was any surprising cuts. I would say my biggest surprise is just that we only have 5 receivers. That's my biggest surprise. But everybody else that got cut, I was like kind of expecting it. The only guy that got cut that I thought would make the team was Means, but I'm not surprised he was cut. I would say edge. No, I'm probably going to go with wide receiver. But at the same time, they'll be fixed by week 1. So, we'll find out about that. Who's the most obvious cut? Cameron Dicker, I think, would probably be the most obvious cut. I am chilling right now. I know. I'm not at my normal recording place, so I'm just chilling at my mom's house in my room, or my old room, but because she's out of town, so I'm watching my younger sister. Or do we have a couple of weeks till the season starts? Yeah, exactly. Jeff, this is 100% true. I think we're really going to see a lot of Isaiah Likely early, which I think is fantastic. So I definitely 100%. I actually thought we were going to flip Dicker the kicker. I would have loved that, but it's tough to flip a punter. Like most teams have a punter. I would love a Josh Gordon sighting. Would love it. I love Josh Gordon. Turbo, I don't think any important players ended up getting cut. Buffalo needed a kicker. No, Buffalo was already in a punter battle with Matt Ariza and whoever, I can't remember who the other one was, but they were in a punter battle until the final preseason game. And then they, like, right before all the news broke, they announced Matt Ariza had won the punter battle, but I think they're just going right back to the guy that lost the punter battle and going with him. I can't remember who it is. Oh, no, this is my fish tank. You guys can see my childhood bedroom. This is my fish tank. That's that noise. Yes. Don't worry, nothing's leaking. What happened to Brandon Williams? We never re-signed Brandon Williams. He technically hasn't retired, but Tyree Phillips is a very good guard. He sucks at tackle. He's a horrible tackle, but he's very good at guard. We should have guarded Bedvict. I don't think so, just because the Ravens have 11 offensive linemen on the roster right now. And I was never huge on Alex Leatherwood coming out of Alabama. I can't say I kept up with him, throughout his career Taco Charlton just got released. Interesting. But I didn't keep up with him in Las Vegas and Oakland, but I think it's kind of tough. All of them flags. I don't know what you're talking about with the flags. No, but I understand why they did it. So, I don't know. Like, I don't think, like, I would have kept Benjamin Victor, but since it looks like Isaiah Likely is going to be playing out of the slot a fair amount. And, like, he's going to be lining up out wide, which I have no problem with. So, that's my thoughts. Is like, okay, Isaiah Likely is going to be more used, which I think is a good thing. Like, I would rather see Isaiah Likely out there catching passes than Wallace or maybe even Prochet or Duvernay, to be honest. So I have no problem with him going out there, being a prominent player. Patrick, that's very true. Any Alabama guy we know, Ozzy's on the lookout. He's on the hunt. TJ, I'm assuming TJ Tony Jefferson. I don't think Tony's going to be on the Ravens. It just he doesn't really have a spot right now because we have too many safeties that can play in the box. And then JPP, I would love for JPP to be a Raven. I think that'd be a really good signing. Ten DBs made it. Humphrey, Peters, Stevens, Fuller, Jalen Armour Davis. Oh, TJ Tyler Johnson. Thank you for the clarification, KJ. I'm not a huge fan of Tyler Johnson's game. I just don't think he's that good. He's also super injury prone. Has been injured like his whole career. So I don't know if he's a necessary signing. That would be one of those disappointing signings the Ravens always make. Where it's like, oh, we got this guy, like we did when we got Willie Snead, or when we got, like, you guys remember when we signed it was the receiver from the Eagles. and the Chiefs. I can't remember what his name is. He was terrible on the Ravens, but it's just like one of the situations where it's like, okay, it didn't really do anything. Tyler Johnson would not change anything about this roster at all. I would not. Jeremy Maclin, thank you, Lance. Thank you. When does the practice squad come out? That'll just come out. The issue is some players will get picked up, and so it'll come out over the next week or so is like when we'll start to really get, figure out who exactly is on the practice squad. Because some people, Michael Crabtree as well. Michael Crabtree was actually like our number one wide receiver for a second. So it wasn't that good, but he was kind of our number one with John Brown. So, and yes, 269 people in here. Shout out to everybody in this stream, guys. Not at my normal setup. I'm doing this on my phone. But you know what? We're getting things done. Let's see here. Shamar Bridges, if the Ravens didn't go out and sign a guy like Demarcus Robinson, I think he probably could have made the team. But because we signed Demarcus Robinson, it's like, okay, what is he going to do? For the Ravens. What about a Mims trade? Maybe, but he's also another just super I don't want a guy that's just has been dealing with major injury concerns. And that's been Mims his whole career. I like Mims coming out of Baylor, but I don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy enough. Devin Allen. Did Devin Allen get cut by the Eagles? I honestly have no idea. I was not paying attention to that at all. That would be I would love that pickup, actually. That'd be a fantastic pickup. Preston Williams. Did Preston Williams get cut? 98 Sin. Oh, he did. Wow. The thing is, Tylan Wallace is great on the special teams. He's great on special teams. Shamar Bridges doesn't play special teams. So it's just something where it's like, what do you want to sacrifice? Do you want to have a wide receiver 5? Or do you want to have one of the best gunners on your team? I think the gunner is more important than wide receiver 5. That's my thought process on it. Ooh, Thaddeus Moss got cut. They were like, all right, go out there, injure Kayvon Thibodeau, and then, head out. Probably like Lynn Bowden as a wide receiver, potentially, but being the gunner. John Harbaugh loves special teams. We have to remember that. We have to remember how much he loves special teams. He needs to make sure that we have good gunners, we have good return people, we have good specialists. A lot of these other guys, they don't have those skills. And so wide receiver 5 isn't going to get out on the field very much unless it's special teams. So get a guy that can play the special teams, and that's what we have. Otherwise, as a pure wide receiver, we could go after we could go after a lot of people if we just want a pure wide receiver. But we need the special teams. Remember Chris Moore? Chris Moore kept making the roster. Why? Was he a great receiver? No. But very good on special teams. That's Tylan Wallace. It's also Justice Hill at the same time. So basically, he's 2 special teamers. John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh cares about special teams. D Ford has major injury concerns. I don't know if he's ever going to play again, is the issue. Yeah. Do you guys remember when the Chargers had the number 1 offense and number 1 defense ranked in the NFL and they never made the playoffs? It's because they had the worst special teams in the league. They legitimately had the best offense and defense in the NFL and didn't make the playoffs. Number 1 in both aspects. Why? Special teams. Yeah, and Lisa, John Harbaugh, special teams guy. Exactly. I mean, D Ford is a situational pass rusher. That's kind of the main thing. And I wonder. Comments. Okay, here we go. The Ravens draft best player available. So in a situation where they're looking at like in the 6th round where they were at, was there any wide receiver that they could have gone after? I don't think so. I don't think there was a wide receiver where I was just looking at the board like, we got to go after that guy. So, like, yeah, it's a 6th round pick though, and he's going to be on the practice squad and he's going to develop his skills, and he could potentially be a really solid player in the NFL. It just may take a little bit. Like, that's what happens with 6th round picks. When you have 10 picks in a draft, not every pick's going to make the roster. It's just too tough. I don't know if the Ravens dude has zero awareness. Stevens is a project. That's why he was drafted. The Ravens knew it would take a little bit. He's not a starter. He's a backup, and they're just trying to get him some reps. Really. I don't know. I don't know why you want to fire Harbaugh after this. I feel like this is fine. This is a great question. I think the Ravens target 2 positions. 2 positions. Wide receiver, shocker. Linebacker. I think the Ravens try and go out and they get themselves their number 1 linebacker, unless Patrick Queen really steps up. If Queen steps up, then I think it's wide receiver all the way. If not, then it's if we don't go wide receiver, maybe we could go edge. But we're gonna have Adafe. We could go corner because I don't know if we keep Marcus Peters. What running backs did we keep? We have Mike Davis, J.K. Dobbins. We're gonna have Kenyon Drake and Justice Hill. Definitely Marlon Humphrey. Yes, Green Bay does have horrible special teams. Yeah, we could go O-line. Just depends on how everybody looks this year. How does Morgan, is Morgan Moses going to be solid next year? Is Ronnie back or is Ronnie struggling? Maybe we go left tackle. I think Linderbaum's going to stay, but do we need a left guard or can Ben Powers do the job? I don't know 100%. I love Josh Ross. I think the dude's a beast. I thought he'd make the roster. I felt like he should make the roster. So I was super excited that he ended up because I think Jim Harbaugh actually tweeted out that he found out that he was making it. Yeah, Zeitler's gone after this year, but everything leads to the Ravens trying to mold Ben Cleveland to be our right guard. That's what he fits, projects best to. That's what he played in college. That's what he looks the best at his right guard. So that's kind of my thought process on it. Yeah, we could go tackle. Yes, George, we can absolutely contend for the Super Bowl. We have Lamar Jackson. We have a good defense, and we have much better weapons than he's ever had. So, 100%. I don't think we do need Shamar Bridges. Now, I really like Shamar Bridges' game. If we didn't have Demarcus Robinson, then I think we absolutely keep Shamar Bridges. That's true, June. Yeah, he's definitely going to be a backup linebacker, but I think he's a good leader. He's a hard worker, and he's smart. He's really smart. He hits those holes. So, yeah, when Gus gets healthy, he'll be added back into the mix, and I think we would cut someone. I would assume we cut Mike Davis when we bring back Gus Edwards, but that's going to be who's playing better, Gus Edwards or Kenyon Drake. Probably not. We probably move on if Stanley gets hurt again or just can't really play. $600 yards for Prochet this year. I could see that, if he doesn't get put in the doghouse for no reason. Yeah, Obi, we could definitely do that if he plays well enough. Terrell Smith, I love that comparison, actually. Yeah, that's a good comp. Very good comp. Oliver there until Kohler is ready. Yeah, that's my thought process is like, once we get Charlie Kohler, I think we're going to get him out on the field. I think he's probably better, but we'll see. I don't think so. I think Jimmy Smith's done. I think he's probably just ready to be done. I don't know if he wants to just continue because he would have to be, keeping in shape and stuff like that. I feel like Jimmy's probably just like, he's done. I think Jimmy's just done. Ain't gonna lie, still want. I'm making the 50. That's funny. Yeah, extremely young, plays well at the will spot at linebacker, so definitely. Let's see. I feel bad. Yeah, and we'll see what happens with him this year. I'm expecting him to come back and be good. So I'm excited for him. Yeah, Bowser's out till at least week 4. He's on the PUP list, so we'll find out what happens with him when he's able to return. Roquan is not a cap casualty. Roquan Smith is a top 10 linebacker in the NFL, and he's on a rookie contract. He's not a cap casualty. Because it's a good edit, and social media doesn't matter. So it's like, it gets random people talking, and Lamar probably just has fun with it. Lamar's also from Miami. Or he's not from Miami, but, he grew up a lot in Florida. So, if you see the team that you grew up looking and watching as a kid, you're in that uniform, you're like, oh, that's cool. Boom, like, doesn't matter. I agree. I think this is right, George. Definitely. You have a sexy pick for the Ravens. Pick for the season, Ravens offense and defense. Like sexy pick and like someone that's gonna really step up. Scott, who's better, the Packers or the Ravens? I mean, the Packers don't have any wide receivers, so I got to go with the Ravens on that one. Packers just definitely have a worse division, though. But yeah, it's like there's too many things going on right now with this roster. But yeah, in terms of I think it was Lisa. In terms of like the sexy pick, I think the best spot is probably just going to be, I think Isaiah Likely is going to be playing a lot of the slot, and Isaiah Likely is going to be playing wide receiver a fair amount. I think that's kind of my thought process on it. Is like that's going to be the big one. And then on defense, I think it's going to be I'm probably going to go with Pepe. I think Pepe is someone that will really be able to come in and just make a little bit of plays. I don't think he's going to be the best corner on the team or anything like that, but I think he'll be good enough to be able to go out there and just like step up and be able to just kind of get maybe a couple of interceptions. He's shown he has really good instincts and stuff like that. I don't think Lamar gets a fully guaranteed contract. I think he gets a heavily guaranteed contract, but I agree. I don't think it's a fully guaranteed deal. Fully guaranteed deals are tough. It's just really tough to pull off. It's a big risk. No matter how good the quarterback is, it's a big risk. I'd rather give more money, but not as much guaranteed than a fully guaranteed deal because sometimes things happen. Sometimes random injuries happen. Sometimes the team just kind of falls apart or the coach quits and, the team just kind of doesn't really work as well. But, yeah, and I see what happened to Tavon. Tavon's playing for the Bears, and he's on the IR, I believe, for the Bears. Yeah, he's on the IR for the Bears right now. Oh, yeah, Obi-Wan. Yeah, just put that in. They got a scary line. Who's got a scary line? This is definitely the most comments that I've ever tried to read, and I have like zero visibility because I'm on my phone. Didn't see that coming. Oh, no, you're too cruel. Lamar got to meet the Ravens halfway. Yeah, it's just really tough. Like, full props to Lamar for, trying to get that fully guaranteed. Like, if Lamar Jackson wins the Super Bowl this year, I think he gets a fully guaranteed deal. And that's probably the only way he gets a fully guaranteed deal. But Lamar Jackson's betting on himself. So he knows that if he wins that Super Bowl, he will get the guarantees. So that's kind of his thought process. So, that's what I'm kind of thinking. I don't know the exact injury he has. I really don't know the exact injury he's rocking out with, but ooh, the Titans just cut Dez Fitzpatrick. I know a lot of Ravens fans really wanted the Ravens to go out and draft Dez Fitzpatrick because he played at Louisville. Could the Ravens maybe go after Dez? That could be interesting. Also, I'm going to flip my phone really quickly because I need to check the Jeff Zrebiec tweets and things like that. So I probably look kind of weird right now, but that's okay. Let's see. Yeah, Dez Fitzpatrick cut. Okay. All right. Nothing major. Nothing major happened. Yeah, next Sunday is going to be a ton of fun for you. I can't wait to be at that game. That's going to be a ton of fun. I think Crawford was just expected. Does it? Okay, when I close out the app, does it go black screen? I honestly, I've never really, I think once, I've never hosted a show from my phone. I've like been a guest on my phone, but if Travis Jones is healthy week 1, it's going to be filthy, but I don't think he will. This is too cold, yo. Too cold. At Sam, that's a really good question. I think we're gonna play Adafe there. I think Adafe is gonna get a lot of reps at Sam. Ooh, yeah, I think it's probably Adafe. That's kind of the only guy. Maybe we throw Malik Harrison in at Sam a little bit as well. And I assume I haven't heard anything about Elliott, so I think he made the roster. He got a good contract, so I fully assume that he is going to make the roster, or he made the roster. Can someone check that? If Deshaun Elliott made the Lions 53-man roster? Yeah, if he comes back for Bills is week 3, I believe, that would be fantastic. That, Vegas knows a lot more than the rest of the NFL, or than most fans. Vegas is generally right. So if the Ravens are favorites in almost every game, that shows you something. That they know the Ravens are really good. Let's see. Yeah, Tony Jefferson got cut because they decided to keep Chuck Clark. So we'll see. I don't think he comes back to the Ravens. I think overall he just is done. I mean, I think he's done with the Ravens. He could sign him with another team, but he's kind of terrible on special teams, which is kind of at this point what he has to play in his career. Can I get a recap of the cuts, please? Okay, so we cut Anthony Brown. We cut Tyler Beatty. We cut Shamar Bridges. We cut Raleigh Webb. We cut Mekhi Polk. We cut Benjamin Victor. We cut. We didn't cut any. We didn't really cut any offensive linemen. We didn't really cut any tight ends. We cut Tony Poljan. We cut on the defensive side of the ball. We cut Christian Welch. We cut Brent Urban, Jeremiah Moon. We cut Tony Jefferson. Tyler Beatty. So, yeah, our Darius Washington got cut. Daryl Worley got cut. That's mostly kind of the big names that got cut. Ben Mason, yeah. Any good pass rushers available? Not from cuts that I've seen. The best is probably JPP. I'm hoping that we see him on the practice squad. If Lamar goes down, I want him playing. I don't want Tyler Huntley playing. Yeah, Khalil McKenzie made the roster. Oh, yeah, Dalen Hayes got cut. Or Dalen Hayes got injury waived, which is kind of different. But if no one picks him up, then we get it. Don C., how you doing, man? How are you doing? Trey Flowers. I think JPP at this point is kind of at a vet minimum kind of deal anyway. So, yeah, about the same price. Both are meh. Quincy Roche. Yeah, we could go with him. No, Moon did not make the team, Sean. Shout out to everybody in the stream. We've been streaming for about an hour, just really talking about all the roster stuff. But let's see. Yeah, the Seahawks could sign Anthony Brown. It'd be really annoying, but they really could. I know they really wanted Jimmy Garoppolo. And the Niners decided that instead of allowing him to get cut and go there, they decided to restructure his deal. And that's why they restructured it, was because they didn't want the Seahawks to get Jimmy G. I think Poe will definitely be back by week 4. He's a tough bird. Mark,
I'm rooting for you, man. I am rooting for you. I think you can do it. Ravens need a local tryout. I think that'll be hilarious. I think Brent Urban gets brought back tomorrow. I would bet that we re-sign Brent Urban tomorrow. I think the reason why Hayes got cut is because he's injured, and so the Ravens feel that they can get him on the IR without having to waste a roster spot. That's my thought process on it. Exactly, Wiz. Exactly. Mark is a good name for guys trying to get a good spot. Now he was going to the other bird team, but you know what? It's all good. I think so. I think he will get through waivers, Wiz. And if he doesn't get through waivers, then he gets another opportunity. That's the risk with all of these cuts. Is like you have to figure out who will get through waivers, and those are the players that you're more likely to cut because you know that you can bring them back easier. Also, a lot of times what happens is players that get cut, teams say, hey, man, we'll bring you back. Don't sign with another team. And that's what they say when they cut them. Like, hey, you'll be back. Don't worry. The Ravens should cut Stevens and bring him back and Poe costume replaced because he can't cover it all. Brandon Stevens, the thing is he is a project. When we drafted him, we knew that. He's not a starter. He is a nickel substitute, a dime package, secondary piece that is athletic and can, hawk the ball, and that's why you bring him in. Yeah, Juan, I definitely like JPP as a guy to potentially bring in. Likely is a legendary name. That is a legendary name. Likely 900 yards, 7 touchdowns. I would love it. I think that'd be fantastic. I think it shows that they know that management over the last couple of years has been atrocious. Atrocious. So I think it's really smart. TJ, I agree. I was shocked that Josh Oliver ended up making the roster, especially over like Benjamin Victor. Yeah, I still like Hayes. He's just been injured. All right, everyone. I think this is probably going to wrap up the stream. Streaming for about an hour. Talked about basically every player on the roster. So, if you just came in for the end, you want to hear about other players, don't worry. We will, you can rewatch it in post, in the post. But thanks so much for watching. Subscribe for Daily Ravens content, and I'll see all of you again tomorrow. Definitely be talking about, potential cut players to go after and everything else like that. So thanks so much, and I'll see all of you again then.